Hi, Mr. Wong. This new school year has been very different. We're about to head into term 3 in June, which is something that's never happened before. Is it going to be like regular school?
Good morning, Wee Wee. Let me first and foremost welcome all our teachers and all our students back to school and welcome to term 3. I also like to welcome our parents, not so much to school per se, but to welcome them back to supporting their children in education, because our parents are integral partners for all of us in education. This year has been an extraordinary year. Quite a few things have changed. So in term 3, we will adapt, we will modify, we will morph a little of our teaching and learning system. For the graduating students, all of them will return to school fully, resume fully all the teaching and learning activities, of course, in a safe and conducive environment. For the other levels, we will be rotating physical schooling with home-based learning on a weekly basis. So from home-based learning, we have seen how the students have achieved so much, not just in terms of the acquisition of content knowledge, but also life skills, important 21st century competencies like self-management, like self-discipline, and the ability to learn on your own, the ability to be self-directed in their learning. And these are indeed important skills that we want to be able to continue to cultivate in our students. Therefore, for term 3, we will be having a combination of physical schooling as well as home-based learning, so that we can enjoy and reap the benefits of the best of both modalities.
So I'm glad that we did not close schools in the sense that we allow home-based learning to continue. And because of that, learning was minimally disrupted. But the fact is that we have lost a lot of curriculum time, and I believe teachers are anxious. So after these weeks of home-based learning, shouldn't the concern be about catching our curriculum and making up for lost time? Can't learning future skills wait?
We are aware, of course, of our teachers who are always very concerned about completing the syllabus because that is their professional responsibility. And we are also aware that students and parents are also always very eager to make sure that they learn as much of the syllabuses as they can, so that they can be ready for the examinations. We have evaluated full home-based learning, and our assessment is that the teachers have taught well and has taught as effectively as they can. And the teachers' evaluations of the students' learning through all the assessment tasks that they have given to the students show that the students have learned well too. So there is indeed actually not a lot of loss of curriculum coverage. And therefore, when we resume term 3, we would not need to be rushing the curriculum, we need not need to be compressing the curriculum, and we need not be spending undue time trying to catch up. In fact, it is important, and this is my answer to your second question, that there is no need to forego the teaching of the 21st century competencies. The learning of academic contents and the teaching of and the cultivation of 21st century competencies actually go hand in hand all the time. They are intertwined with each other. We must not, and I like to convince all teachers, students, and parents, we must not see the teaching and learning of future skills, life skills, as something superfluous, as something extra, as something additional, as an add-on that can be given up when we need to. We have, in our curriculum design, ensured that the two things which are equally important are embedded very, very tightly, both within home-based learning as well as physical schooling. So in term 3, we will continue to see holistic education being delivered.
So hearing this makes me feel a lot more positive and reassured about the situation that we are in. I mean, as a teacher, I think we do see a lot of good that has come out of the situation as well. One example is real-world context. In the past, the kids may never understand why we have to conduct temperature-taking exercise a few times every year. But I think now they will carry on with this experience and understand the intent of these measures. So now that we're moving into term 3, we'll be able to give us any advice on how we should prepare ourselves and frame our mindsets for the upcoming term 3.
My own sense is that there is a silver lining in our journey through this pandemic. We have seen how our teachers, students and parents have been extremely adaptable. We are very, very impressed with the fact that there has been continuity of learning despite all the difficult situations we were in. But if there's anything that we can add, I think we can learn from this episode to be more forgiving of ourselves and of others. Because during difficult times, these things do come up. We can be a little less hard on ourselves. For our students, it's been hard, it's been challenging as well. Sometimes learning does not go the way that we want to. Sometimes some lessons may be a bit more difficult to follow. And it will always be so. But we can try and we can continue to learn to the best of our ability. And if we do not do well, don't despair. The teachers are here with us in term 3. Seek advice from your teachers. Seek advice from your parents. And then continue to try and continue to learn by doing and by trying again. For our parents, I know it's been hard upon all of us as well to have to juggle work as well as give support to our children during home-based learning. If things do not come to perfection or things are below our expectation, let's take a pause. Let's not be too hard upon ourselves and upon others. Do not get unduly upset. And I think things will definitely become better.
So come term 3, we may not be going back to normal, but I'm still really excited that we are going into the new normal. School without the children is really just like a concrete building, and I'm sure all my colleagues miss the children because they are a glimpse of normalcy.
Let me perhaps share at this point one of Aesop's fables. Aesop fables is one of my favorite pedagogical tools because there's so much to learn from there. And this is a story of Hercules and the wagoner. So there was this farmer who was riding his wagon drawn by 2 horses from his farm, carrying a full load of farm produce, going to the market. As he passed by a muddy road, very unfortunately, the cart went into a muddy pothole and got stuck. Try as he may, whipping the horses, he couldn't get the cart out of the muddy situation. So he dismounted in a lot of anger, in a lot of distress, cursing and swearing at his bad fortune. And finally, in his despair, he prayed to Hercules and asked Hercules to come and help him. And lo and behold, Hercules actually appeared. And so the wagoner was delighted and said, Hercules, Hercules, please lift the wagon off with your huge strength so that I can get along my way. Hercules replied, sorry, Mr. Wagoner, I won't do that. Why don't you put your shoulder to the wheel and do something about it? And urge your horse on when you are able to heave the wheel out of the hole. The wagoner did just that with all his might, with all his will. He lifted the wheel a little bit and urged his horse to pull it forward, and the wheel actually got dislodged from the rut. What is the moral of the story? I shall not tell you the moral story, but hint, hint, it is about self-reliance.
Yeah, like what you say, I mean, COVID-19 will go away and it will end one day. But I believe the lessons learned and how the children have felt, what they've observed about how the teachers and their parents have reacted, these are things that will stay on with them and prepare them for any upcoming challenges that they may face in the future.
All of us as teachers do believe that education should be about more. Not just about more numbers, higher numbers, not more about examination results, better scores, but it should be more about fuller education, more fulfillment, more satisfaction from learning, more engagement, more relevance to the student's life. And it is on that hope that through this period of adventure that we've gone through, uncomfortable as we may be now, but when we look back at this adventure as it happened, in retrospection, we know that we have grown so much, all of us, teachers, students, parents. And then when we look forward, we know that we can ride on this growth that we have achieved, this new strength that we have gathered to become even better individuals, better members of society, and to be able to contribute to society even more for the future.